watching Fox Local.
Fox 10 News Alert on this Wednesday morning as Phoenix police investigate a deadly overnight shooting.
Danielle Miller live near 47th Avenue in McDowell, and we understand, Danielle, you just got an update from police.
Yeah, the Phoenix Police Department just updated us. They told us they got called here to this neighborhood just before 2 o'clock this morning. You can take a look behind me here. Still a very active scene. They have been here all morning long investigating this triple shooting. We now know, they say when they arrived here on scene, they found one man. He was dead. They also have an adult man and an adult woman who were rushed to the hospital. Both of those people are said to have life-threatening injuries. So this neighborhood is blocked off right here. It is 47th Avenue in Hubble. That is where the Phoenix Police Department is continuing their investigation this morning. We are still working to get details on exactly what led up to the shooting and if the Phoenix Police Department is looking for anyone in particular in terms of a suspect or suspects in this case, and if they have anybody apprehended at this point. So those details we're still working to get, but what we do know, one man was found dead here on scene. Another man and a woman were rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Any type of updates we get on this triple shooting, we'll definitely pass those along as they come in. For now, we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Danielle, keep us posted. 7:02 and a Fox follow-up for you now on a young father shot in the face back in September while working on a fence with another man who died at the scene.
This morning we are learning that man, Jamal Avery, is finally back home, 19 years old. Now getting to see his 2-year-old son for the first time since he was shot. And here's a look at them right here. Avery and his cousin's fiance, 48-year-old Alan Whitworth, they were finishing repairing a fence near 39th Street and Thomas in East Phoenix when a man approached and shot them several times. Well, Whitworth died. Avery was shot once in the cheek and once in the shoulder, undergoing several surgeries over nearly a 2-month span.
I remember going to put up the fence, but after being shot, I don't remember anything.
They think it's going to be at least another 6 months, maybe, because he still has to get the skull put back in, and that might do a couple setbacks. But after the skull, they expect him to recover fast.
Oh, Godspeed on the recovery. A GoFundMe has now been set up for Jamal and his family to help support them during this time. You can find a link with the information and to this story at fox10phoenix.com.
The family of an Arizona Marine who was shot and killed in Mexico, they're speaking out after the arrest of his suspected killers over the weekend. Nicholas Ketz died on a highway in Mexico on October 18th. The 31-year-old from Tucson was on his way to spend time with friends in Rocky Point. The Ketz say they appreciate their communication with the staff from the Consulate General in Sonora, Mexico.
My goal, my objective, and what I won't stop until is that when those cowards shot my son in a carjacking for going to the beach, that was what, in Latin American terms, they would call the chispa, or the spark, that is the beginning of the end.
Well, the family says that they plan to create a scholarship in Nick's name for welding and fabrication, one of his signature skills. Well, developing back here in the Valley this morning, Goodyear police have arrested a school resource officer on domestic violence related charges.
We're told police received a call from a teenage boy on Tuesday night saying he was assaulted by his father. Officers arrived at the house. They found Verrado High School SRO David Allison in the driveway, and he was intoxicated. He appeared in court last night. You could hear the judge discussing how Allison should not be treated any differently because of his job.
One of these is a police officer, current police officer. But that's just not a reason not to bring him in.
Well, Allison has now been charged with assault and disorderly conduct. Buckeye police say he is on administrative leave pending the results of an internal investigation. You decide 2024. We are now less than a week away from Election Day. And
across the valley, law enforcement is ready to keep everyone safe on Election Day. The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office says, they have spent weeks preparing. They plan to deploy at least 200 deputies on Election Day. There'll be law enforcement officers in uniform as well as undercover officers. They also say they could be using drones, and there is the potential for snipers strategically located, on some rooftops.
Well, secure fencing with a barbed wire surrounds the Maricopa County Election and Tabulation Center has also been added to protect election workers. There are also cameras surrounding the building. Maricopa County Supervisor Bill Gates warning voters to be patient on November 5th. With a 2-page ballot in Maricopa County, you will need time to get through all of it, so expect some lines.
We have waited in lines for elections for as long as we've had a republic. Okay. And I felt like, to some extent, as the guy who was standing up in these press conferences in 2022, that there were some candidates who believed that their voters have a right to not have a line. That's not realistic.
So we had the Clean Elections, Commission in last week. They said, make sure you do about a 30-minute look at that ballot, or at least at your ballot booklet before you go in, because you will need to study. We have about 14 different propositions. Gates says they have a, quote, great plan to keep, everyone happy, hopefully, those lines as short as possible. But voters need to plan ahead to give yourself the time needed.
We also said that you can bring in a cheat sheet.
Yes, you can.
That's allowed. So if you want to do some research ahead of time, make it maybe a little easier.
It's an open book test.
We like those, don't we?
Yes, we do. Turning to the race for the White House now, as the candidates step up their attacks on one another. 6 days until the election.
Yeah, so Ron is live in the control room with more on this. Good morning, Ron.
And we know how important Arizona is. Both candidates going to be here on the same day tomorrow, making that final pitch to undecided voters.
Donald Trump has spent a decade trying to keep the American people divided and afraid of each other. That is who he is. But America, I am here tonight to say that is not who we are. That is not who we are.
Vice President Harris with a big crowd last night outside the White House, the same spot where President Trump addressed his supporters January 6, 4 years ago. And while her boss, President Biden, didn't attend, his comments hours earlier now creating some outrage among Trump voters. He reportedly said, there is video of it out there, the only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The White House is now trying to claim that he meant he was referring to just one person, meaning the comedian Tony Hinchcliffe, who spoke at Trump's Madison Square Garden event, referring to Puerto Rico as an island of garbage. But Trump addressed what Biden had said, calling his supporters garbage, the Trump supporters. So here's what he said at the rally in Pennsylvania last night, saying this is worse than what Hillary Clinton called Trump supporters back in 2016.
Remember Hillary? She said deplorable. And then she said irredeemable, right? But she said deplorable. That didn't work out. Garbage, I think, is worse, right?
So both candidates are expected in North Carolina today, you guys. And it's interesting. I check these polls every day. North Carolina, there are 3 polls out there. One has Donald Trump with a 3-point lead. Another has Kamala Harris with a 1-point lead. The third one has it as a tie. North Carolina, another state as tight as can be.
We'll see what happens. It's coming down to the wire.
Listen to those polls. It's like rock, paper, scissors.
I know, right?
Okay, come on.
Let's just choose which one, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Ron, thank you. As we inch closer to November 5th, a warning from the Better Business Bureau about those text messages telling you to vote.
I've been getting bombarded. Have you been getting them
me
too?
too.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have. They say more and more of those texts could actually turn out to be scam text messages. The organization warns people to never get out any personal information to an unsolicited message. Don't answer unknown callers. And you can also never click on those suspicious links. A representative with the Bureau says that those who are voting early have been a key target for those scammers. One tip from the experts, you can download the Filter app from the App Store to help weed out some of those messages, or you can always block the number and report the call or text as junk. Today marks the 1-year anniversary of the day 16-year-old Preston Lord died.
And we are now learning the owners of the Queen Creek home where Preston Lord was beaten will not face charges. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office says prosecutors would not pursue misdemeanor charges. According to a letter from attorney Rachel Mitchell, the parents broke up the party after less than an hour because of a fight that had broken out. That fight was separate from the attack on Lord, which happened off of the homeowner's property as the party was breaking up. The new developments here come after 7 suspects were arrested in connection to Lord's death earlier this year. They're scheduled to go to trial in July. Now this.
Yeah, this is a Fox 10 follow-up. 2 young men and a teen are under arrest this morning after being accused of firing several shots inside of the Arizona Mills Mall. Remember this video? This was shot back in September. You can hear those bullets being fired while some workers and customers were trying to take cover. Good thing, no one was hurt, but the shooting created a lot of panic. Investigators say they used surveillance video to lead to the arrests. All 3 now face a number of felony charges. Well, you may have noticed all the graffiti along the 19th Avenue corridor recently.
So now police say much of it traces back to just one single person who is now under arrest. Police say Jordan Kamehasi created more than $57,000 in damage. Investigators believe he vandalized city property more than 750 times this year, according to court records. He targeted bus stops, sidewalks, curbs, street signs with his nickname Mower, or initials KS. Neighbors we spoke with say they are pretty frustrated.
Over the last 3 years, things have gone downhill. No, the homeless population has grown. There's more graffiti. It's just not as, I mean, it was coming up back 2019, 2018, and since then it's just been downhill.
Well, police say Kamehasi is also the man responsible for tagging Christ Church in Central Phoenix, as well as the Phoenix Christian Academy.
Well, are you looking to get out of town for the holidays? Well, experts say now is the time to start booking those tickets. The travel company Hopper says Thanksgiving flights should be booked immediately as prices are expected to jump as high as 54% in the weeks leading up to the holiday. Hopper says the average airfare for Thanksgiving right now about $273 to end the month of October, but up 9% from last year. So a little bit higher than what we were paying last year, right?
But I got to get on the laptop here during a commercial break.
And get those tickets. Well, a big surprise for students and teachers at Madison #1 Middle School in Phoenix.
Well, Phoenix Sun star Ryan Dunn paid them a visit. What a special day this was for them. He awarded Nicole Carpenter's 7th and 8th grade science class the Arizona Public Service Grant. The money will help buy a new makerspace lab filled with 3D printers. Here he is walking in. Oh, this must be Miss Carpenter, right? Look at, and these are her students. They're like, yeah. Way to go, Miss Carpenter. They're going to have 3D printers, all kinds of fun stuff to create robotics projects. The Sun's rookie says it will help shape engineers of the future.
I don't remember making any of this stuff when I was growing up, but it shows how much these kids are learning and how much Miss Carpenter is helping educate these kids and being the next generation for us.
Wow, he's tall. Look at him.
He is tall.
He should be a basketball player. Miss Carpenter is one of 25 teachers who received the grant from APS.